Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the final edition of Props of the Week for 2025. We're rolling into 2026, so the next time we'll be having a UFC card is in 2026, like what, 42 days after this card or some crazy number, or yeah, X amount of days after this card. So I think like January 24th is the first card of 2025, but yeah, and also the first Paramount card. But yeah, prop of the week. Well, props of the week for UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Kape. Yeah, it is what it is. Kind of delayed a little bit on these things. Just woke up, and we just gonna roll into it. So, props of the week for UFC Fight Night, Royval versus Kape. And yeah, I got 4 props for this one. So let's get into the first one. Green by KO or decision at -170. I think Lance Gibson Jr. is a pretty solid fighter, but I can't really point out anything there where I feel like he's particularly so much better than Green. Experience gap is extremely huge. Not like Lance Gibson Jr. have ever shown to be a proficient striker or a great fighter that has like any type of great phenomenal power, no type of great phenomenal strength. Hopefully he worked on some things, because I like the guy, to be honest. I like both fighters here, so if either one win, I wouldn't really care. Like, oh, I want the guy to really win it. I want that guy to run. Both guys are cool to me, for the most part. But yeah, but focus on the bread and butter and not getting too much in deep. Like, oh, I like his Facebook posts. Oh, I like this, like that. He really has a cool wife. Like, does that even matter? No. Who cares? But yeah, I just feel like Green's the better overall fighter. And I feel like Gibson can be touched on the feet. And the one time he really got connected on the chin, like, his chin did not hold up very well. And Green should be the better striker. But, Green could also take this to the decision. Like, he's the older fighter. So a lot of times that fight's doing the decision. It's not like Green's a one-punch knockout guy consistently. He's more so a volume puncher, more so a decisionator. But KO decision at -170, I think that's a good value. And I think Green should win this one. I don't see him submitting him. I feel like that's off the table. It's there, but not very high chance that it happens. Next one, Limos by KO or submission at +425. I think this is still. I know her opponent's been looking. Jillian Roberts has been looking pretty good, but we got what she really beat. What she really beat? She beat some fighters that weren't really that good, and a fighter that never really had great grappling, and yeah, Marina Rodriguez, and was on a 2-3 fight losing streak already at that point, and even her power point, she was getting taken down by a striker and could not get up her back. So Marina Rodriguez was not looking particularly good at that point in her career. With Limos was still looking solid. Like, Limos has only lost like the creme de la creme of the division. She lost to Weili Zhang in a 5-round fight and had her moments in that fight, even though they were very few. For Tatiana Suarez, probably the best or second best wrestler in the weight class. Well, pure wrestler, the best by far. But it may grappling all along, she might be second behind Weili Zhang if Zhang is in the weight class. And Jillian Robertson's wrestling is nowhere near the level of Tatiana Suarez. Her grappling might be way better, but her wrestling is nowhere near the level. And I think Limos can address the wrestling of Jillian Robertson so she can even get to the grappling. And on the ground, I feel like Limos' grappling is very underrated. She could submit Jillian Robertson, especially if she hurts her first. So, yeah, I don't feel like Jillian Robertson ever going to really evolve into a truly elite fighter. And I don't think Limos has fallen off that far. But we'll see. I definitely think Limos is the best dog on this card. But we'll see. Limos KO sub at +425. I don't see this going the distance if Limos wins. I feel like if Robertson wins, it could go the distance. But I feel like Limos, if she starts hurting Robertson, I think she gets her out of there. So, Limos by KO sub at +425. Next one, we got Magny Amasov, fight not to go the distance at -160. So Magny has been finished in the majority of his recent fights, or finished his opponents in the majority of the recent fights. Like, he either gets stopped early or he rallies and finishes them late. So fight not to go the distance at -160, I think that's a good value. And Amasov, I think like 60 or 70% of his fights have ended in the distance. So I feel like this is going to be a fight where Amasov is going to run through Magny quick, or like second round, or maybe Magny rallies. I don't really feel like Magny would have finished Amasov, to be honest. So I kind of don't really cover that part. But hey, anything can happen. And again, Magny, if you look at the metrics and the stats, Magny has been finishing his opponents in these recent fights, like in the third round, once giving him the first round or something. But yeah, I don't think the fight goes the distance. And I'm more so leaning to the fact that Amasov can get it done in the distance as far as this prop. So -160, I think that's a good prop. And it kind of covers most of the angles on this fight at a good value of -160. Last but not least, we got Joanderson Brito by KO sub at +110. I think his opponent is solid, but this is a huge step up, and I don't think he's quite ready for that. And on short notice, gets a bulldozer like Brito. I think Brito could get it done inside the distance by KO or submission early or second round. Yeah, good opponent, well-rounded, good gym. But I've seen him held down by lesser opponents, and I've seen him TKO'd by lesser opponents. And to take this big step up on short notice, I just don't think he's ready for it yet at 23 years old. Hey, he might be able to take it the distance, but I don't think he's winning. I think this is Brito all day. So Brito by KO or sub at plus 110, I think is a good prop. So run through them real quick again. Green by KO or decision at minus 170. Limos by KO or sub at plus 425. Magny Amasov fight not to go the distance at minus 160. And Brito by KO or sub at plus 110. So those have been the props of the week. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.